Okay, thank you, Anna. So I think we're going to go directly to Himanshu, who's going to take us to a very different context to the one you just heard about with AI technology and financial preparedness. So Himanshu is the CEO of Agewell Foundation, which is a leading organization in India that spent more than 2 decades working directly with and for older people. Agewell's pioneered locally anchored intergenerational approaches to care and support, particularly for older people facing isolation, poverty, and limited access to services. So Himanshu has been involved in global debates, often focus on formal systems, but your work shows the power of community action, I think. And from your experience and that of Agewell, maybe you could tell us a little bit about how locally rooted, volunteer-driven approaches strengthen care pathways for older persons most at risk. So Himanshu, over to you.
So good afternoon, everyone. Probably I'm going to beat a drum which may not sound very comfortable to many others, because the topic that we all are talking about is slightly different, and the topic that I am talking about, though it relates to it, but it's slightly away from this kind of discussion. Okay, first of all, let's face it, I am an old person myself. And I speak from the grounds in India, where millions of old people face survival every day. Let their eyes remind us, aging must mean dignity for all, not just the privileged. Today, I would like to draw everyone's attention to a larger reality of older people all around the world. Next. I am in full agreement that the housing innovation, financial planning, and tech access are all valuable building blocks for old people. But I believe true future readily must start with and prioritize the most vulnerable old people to ensure no one is left behind. Next. The world today is not only aging at an accelerated pace with longevity setting in, but the canvas of old age is all getting bigger with every passing day. There is an ever-widening gap between haves and have-nots, even among the old people. Let's just scale these down. Next. Almost 65 to 70% old people in India depend on others, even for 2 meals a day. And financially, this is not unique for India. It is the same story across still developing and underdeveloped economies. Fact is, almost 70% old people in the world today are vulnerable, with no financial, social, emotional, interpersonal, or legal support. Next. Observing from our experience in India, where we have 155 million plus old people, with more than 20,000 more joining them every day, most of them are dependent on fragile resources. Next. It is far different from developing economies, where unfortunately we focus more on 30% secure old people, and larger chunk of 70% remains invisible, helpless, and unnoticed. Today, the demographic shift is urgent, but vulnerability defines much of it. Next. The innovations we all are talking about today are powerful. My appeal is, can we adapt and scale them to reach those who need them the most? We need to first ensure survival and dignity for old people, then build upwards. Next. With my experience of over 30 years dealing with thousands of old people every day, I believe micro pensions and literacy for old people is becoming increasingly important. Retrofit informal homes and community-specific models could improve their lives. Next. Hybrid tech-human systems are the need of the hour. And most importantly, global advocacy is key to prioritize Global South in Madrid as well as Doha plans. Next. Let's make future-ready care truly inclusive and build pathways that leave no one behind. Thank you. I would love to receive questions and talk about it more. Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm going to do exactly that, Himanshu, because I think your stat there around 155 million older people in India, which is a greater population than around 75% of UN countries. So when we talk about future pathways for older people, we have to bear in mind that often this is a much bigger conversation. So maybe, Himanshu, can you maybe just build a little bit on that point about how we can take the Global South into consideration in Madrid and Doha? What does that actually mean, do you think, to take the Global South truly seriously when it comes to issues of older people?
See, in my observation over the years, most of the conversation is focused on developed economies. Most of the conversation we talk about old people who are financially secure. The financially secure section of older people have different set of issues. But rest of the world, almost about 70-75% of old people in the total population of old people have nothing, absolutely nothing. And almost all of them depend on their next meal on others. They like, if somebody will feed me, I'll get some food. There's no shelter. Forget about medical assistance. Forget about anything else. Insurance, nothing. And here we are talking about that small group of rich people, developed economies, and finding solutions for them. As a matter of fact, I'm surprised. Even for SDGs, which is a big thing all around the world. Everybody's talking about SDG this, SDG that, and we are trying to find loopholes in that. Energy, okay, old people would also need energy. Water, yes, old people would also need water. Why can't we collectively start demanding that SDGs must have at least 1 point on old people? We're talking of huge population, of huge world population. Collectively, we need to start a dialogue in that direction. Instead of moving around with a begging bowl, please consider old people also, or trying to find out some loophole that yes, old people also matter.
Okay, well, get your questions ready, folks. But I think